We're not jerks, we don't curse.
Celebration, Grime Nation! It is I, your host with the most, from coast to coast, direct to you with another Grime's Great Raw review. And today I have an extra special treat for all my loyal Grime Nation. I have a much needed co-host for Grime's Great Raw review. Someone who is also under witness protection after vile deeds were perpetrated on his person. Introducing my good friend, Juan. And he is going to accompany me on today's Grime's Great Raw review. So let's get right down to it, what I thought of this week's Monday Night Raw. Yeah! So we open the show with a promo from the Authority. Isn't that right, Juan?
Yeah.
And the Authority wants Daniel Bryan to surrender his title, as he should have done when he first knew he had to go get surgery. But he has not done so yet. He was not on that European tour, so I could almost forgive them saying, okay, we're gonna go to Europe and not worry about it, but when we get back, you better surrender that title. Then, to address last week's issues, they bring out Brad Maddox, aka The Beef. And I must commend you, Mr. Maddox, on your superior fashion sense and those awesome suspenders. That's just great. So it appears that Mr. Maddox was forced last week to put the shield on official guest commentators. There is no such thing, as I told you last week, as an official guest commentator. That is not an official, they are a commentator. That is nonsense, that is a waste. But the Authority, in their infinite wisdom, think that Brad Maddox should face the wrath of the Demon Kane. And I don't know if this is going to be a new feud or what the nonsense is here, but here comes the Demon Kane to beat up Brad Maddox. And after the Demon Kane slightly botches his pyro, I don't know if Sin Cara was in charge of his pyro or what, then Brad Maddox is fired. I wish him the best in his future endeavors, and maybe he can go hang out with Matt Striker. Moving on, we have yet another Antonio Cesaro and Rob Van Dam match. I don't understand who decided these matches were a good idea to have. We know that Antonio Cesaro is the superior athlete. However, I will mention that Antonio Cesaro has a fantastic new t-shirt and you should all go buy it. But that's okay, this match is now justified because Bad News Barrett comes down to deliver some of his awesome bad news on commentary. Then we see Rob Van Dam being the unprofessional that he is and kicking Bad News Barrett in the face when he was merely trying to do his job on commentary. You are a waste, Rob Van Dam. You have been a waste for the past 10 years, and you should just please go away. As predicted, Cesaro wins the match with a fantastic German suplex, and it's aces all around. But here comes that unprofessional Sheamus to kick Antonio Cesaro with the bro kick, and then shake his hand when he's unconscious. Sheamus, I like you, I'm a fan of Sheamus, but this was completely unprofessional and uncalled for. Next we have a match between Eva Marie and Summer Rae. Are you serious? This sounds like something that should be on, like, Main Event, or Superstars, or Total Divas. It should not be invading the main show here. This is a complete waste. Even the crowd is so disinterested, they are chanting for that other waste, Daniel Bryan. What are you doing, Tennessee crowd? Then we have an interruption from Layla and Fandango, and they're befouling my TV screen again. And then one of the commentators, I can't remember which one, says it's Young Love. Isn't Layla like 36 or 38 or something? How is that Young Love? Well, I guess for them, since they're pretty old men, then it's Young Love. But come on, commentary team, I expect better from you. And that distraction causes Summer Rae to win the match with the Diva Special roll-up and whatever waste. P.S. Eva Marie has music? I'm just as surprised as you are. And then we go backstage with the awesome Randy Orton and the amazing Batista, and they are conversing among themselves. And they are interrupted by Goldust and Cody Rhodes, who want to fight because they weren't on the show last week. They thought it was unfair. They weren't on the show and they want to fight somebody, and that's fine by me. And then Cody Rhodes has the gall to mock Batista's jeans and then make up a foul name for Randall Keith Orton, which I cannot repeat on this show, but I assure you it was foul, and all of you who made it trend worldwide on the Twitter sphere, you are wasty wastes. Now hold on there a minute, player. It sounds like there's gonna be a tag team match tonight. We move on to what is perhaps the greatest match of the night, El Torito versus Drew McIntyre. The announce team mentions that it has been 8 years of Hornswoggle in the WWE. That is amazing, Grime Nation. For 8 years, he's been entertaining us with his hilarity and his athleticism and his long and storied career. It's great. However, El Torito somehow wins this match over the far superior chosen one, Drew McIntyre. This is a travesty. This is a miscarriage of justice. But thankfully, Hornswoggle rips the tail off of that little bull, El Torito, and sends him to the back to go looked at by the doctors. It was great. Yeah. We then move on to the Wyatts in the ring cutting a promo. They should feel at home in the backwoods of Tennessee with these fans who just sit on their hands the whole show and just don't bother cheering or booing anybody. What are you doing? You are at a wrestling event. You should be actively participating, Tennessee fans. And then, as usual, the Wyatts continue to sing that same public domain song. Please find a new song in the public domain. You run this one into the ground. It is a wasty waste. And my good buddy, Mr. John Cena, who is also friends with my other friend, Juan here, they're good buddies. And he is gonna beat you at Payback. And hopefully you will stop singing your dumb song then. Also, your promos all kind of sound the same. Why are you still being such a wasty waste? Alright, Wyatts, I have a serious bone to pick with you. Why are you picking on Jerry the King Lawler? While I may not agree with everything he says at the announce table, the man had a heart attack. He almost died. Why are you picking on a man who almost died? This is nonsense and completely unprofessional. Apparently, being an announcer and climbing mountains means that JBL is completely out of shape and cannot defend anyone against the Wyatts. What happened to being a wrestling god? But that's okay, Grime Nation, because here comes your savior and mine, John Cena. And then here comes the Usos, and then John Cena cuts a riveting and original promo. However, on a small side note, Mr. Cena, please refrain from using foul language. I understand you are angry that the Wyatts won't stop singing that same stupid song, but please watch your language. This is a PG show. I shouldn't have to tell you, you should already know. Moving on. It seems that Zack Ryder is making his full transition into the 2014 version of Hacksaw. He doesn't even get to cut a promo, he's just waving the flag around, and then out comes Lana. And far be it from me to repeat myself week after week after week, I will not even mention this Lana unpleasantness. I will just move on to Rusev, who apparently has finally broken free of the shackles of being racist. Good on you, Rusev. Good on you. After a complete squash match of Zack Ryder, which is 100% appropriate for the skill level of Zack Ryder, it appears I may have spoken too soon about Rusev no longer being racist Rusev, because here comes the Big E. So moving on from that unpleasantness, we move on to the featured tag team match of the night, Goldust, Cody Rhodes versus Batista and Randy Orton. The Authority, in their brilliance, has made this an elimination match without actually telling anybody it was an elimination match. As it should be, Cody gets eliminated and then Goldust gets eliminated. Your rightful winners, Batista and Randy Orton. In a well-deserved SmackDown rematch, we have Bo Dallas versus Sin Hunakara Ko, whatever his name is. When you believe, it is so powerful that it breaks the Sin Cara mood lighting. And as it should be, Bo Dallas wins his match. Into hour 3 now, here comes Stephanie to finally call out that wasty waste of a champion, Daniel Bryan, and tell him to do the right thing and surrender his World Heavyweight Championships. And here comes Daniel Bryan, and for once, he is not dragging along his wife. Yet another unprofessional action on this show, insubordination from Daniel Bryan, who will not relieve or relinquish his championship belts. So Stephanie, in her wisdom, has issued him an ultimatum. At the pay-per-view Payback, either he can relinquish his title belts, or his wife can get fired. Now, personally, I don't see the problem here. Those are both fantastic options. I think that if he wants to be a waste and keep his belts, who cares if his wife gets fired? Or you can keep her employed. It's not like she's actually doing anything meaningful in the company, and relinquish his belts to someone who should be a true champion like John Cena. But I still think that postponing this decision to the pay-per-view is still a terrible waste. He should have been stripped of these belts weeks ago. Sweet sassy Molassie, here comes the ultimate unprofessional Alicia Fox. And this week, she is fighting the always charming Emma, who, for some reason, no longer has Santino in tow. Yet another Diva Special roll-up victory. And we move on to what is becoming the increasingly unprofessional Alicia Fox in her post-match nonsense breakdown. Now, I am sure that Alicia Fox will shortly be hearing from Human Resources after her completely uncalled for and unprofessional attack on that timekeeper guy, giving him a wedgie. What is wrong with you, Alicia? He is just trying to do his job. I hope that Human Resources calls you and reprimands you for your completely unprofessional and uncalled for actions. Next up, here comes Damian Crockett, Davey Sandow. I don't know, I'm confused, but it's hilarious, and it's amazing, and he does a great job at whatever they're giving him to do. But here comes that waste Adam Rose, and I see Zack Ryder doing double duty tonight in that bunny costume. And I really thought they would give Adam Rose his debut match at the pay-per-view, not on a random Raw versus Damian Sandow. I don't understand that. But here comes Jack Swagger with a distraction holding the lemon. Now hold on just a minute here, Grime Nation. How does Adam Rose have a lemon in his entourage? He specifically says, don't be a lemon. So how does he have a guy in a lemon costume just waste? And poor Damian Sandow can't even win a match with the distraction. Waste. Grime Nation, WWE Nation, I'm disappointed in you. Last week, Slam City was number 2 on the list for WWE Network. This week, it has fallen all the way down to number 9. Now, I am still glad to see it in the top 10, but what are you doing, Grime Nation? Get that back up there. Back up to 2 or 1, where it rightfully should be, because Slam City is hilarious. We get another Del Rio Sheamus 5-star classic, and out comes Paul Heyman to cut a promo, and it's pretty good stuff, and Sheamus wins, and that was that whole segment. But I should mention, after the match, Cesaro comes out to attack Sheamus, and somehow that is a bad thing, even though earlier in the night, when Sheamus came out to attack Cesaro, it was seen as a good thing. The bottom line is this: both of these were unprofessional actions. You should do all of your talking in the ring in officially sanctioned matches, and both of them were being unprofessional. That is the bottom line, Grime Nation. Moving on to the main event, here we have a contract signing between The Shield and Evolution, and The Shield are so unprofessional, they interrupt the voice of the WWE, Michael Cole, who is introducing them to come down to the ring. Okay, Roman Reigns, I understand that you are one of the most unprofessional men in sports entertainment today, but you do not need to ruin perfectly good chairs and disrespect those chairs by throwing them out of the ring. Those chairs are expensive, somebody had to pay for those, what are you doing? And then, after you sign the contract, you just throw it onto the floor like a complete waste. So as expected, it turns into a big brawl, and then as it should be, Evolution comes out on top. They put Roman Reigns through a table with a triple powerbomb, and it's great, it's fantastic. This Raw had almost everything you could possibly want from a Monday Night Raw. It was pretty good. So that's gonna do it for another Grime's Great Raw Review, with me here, your host, Grime, and my buddy Juan, who is here with me in the Witness Protection Program. We will see you next week for another Grime's Great Raw Review. And don't forget to subscribe, like, share, tweet, tout, retweet, Reddit, Facebook, Foursquare, Instagram, Telegram, Sonogram, and Carrier Pigeon, the undisputed action figure champion of the known universe. It has been nailed!